tail of the tape for this welterweight fight.
Take a look at that height difference, Mike. 6 foot to 5'8", but the reach 676.5. That's a 6.5 inch reach advantage. Khonry has a huge advantage in that length.
The oldest son of Royce Gracie, Khonry Gracie, fighting professionally for the second time. His opponent, Ron Becker, with the official introductions. Here's Michael C. Williams.
Bellator MMA from Tel Aviv tonight now features 3 5-minute rounds in the welterweight division. Introducing the blue corner at 5'8", weighing in 168.8 pounds. His professional record 2-1, fighting out of Haifa, presenting Ron Boy Wonder Becker. And across the cage, his adversary fighting out of the red corner at 6'1", weighing in 169.8 pounds. His professional record early on stands at 0-1. He fights out of Palos Verdes, California, USA. Introducing Khonry Gracie.
21-year-old Khonry Gracie.
Leon Roberts.
Leon Roberts, our referee. You could see his father Royce and Uncle Henzo in the corner. It was Royce, Rodrigo, and Hoyler in the corner when Khonry Gracie made his MMA debut back at the Foreman Inglewood. A unanimous decision loss to Devin Brock, looking for his first pro win. Gracie in the red gloves, Ron Becker in the blue gloves.
Khonry Gracie has done a lot of work at wild card boxing with Freddie Roach and guys there. His stand-up is not what we call dynamic, but he is long and he uses it well, and he has learned how to set himself up to be successful in the stand-up. We'll see if that happens tonight.
Doing a lot of wrestling with Mark Munoz, some kickboxing with Joe Stitch-em-up Schilling. So he's definitely trying to broaden his game, because he's a kid who's basically been rolling on the mat since he was, you know, could move enough to roll on the mat.
Obviously, he doesn't have a whole lot of experience around him. You know, as far as, you know, the people that are in his corner, and, you know, I don't think they've ever been to a fight or anything. You know, look at, when you got Royce and you got Henzo in your corner and you've been working out with Stitch-em-up Schilling and the guys that Khonry has available to help him become the fighter that he wants to be, man, that can lead to nothing but success.
Was just promoted to brown belt in December for the passing of his grandfather, Elio.
Right there is the difference between Khonry and his daddy, Royce, man. Khonry likes to stand on the outside and throw his hands. In that position, his dad would have been everything he could do to get that fight to the ground, because he knows I can't be hurt there. Khonry doesn't care. He likes to throw his hands and he wants the knockout. We talked to him. He says, I'm going to knock this guy out.
John was starting to say before the passing of the great Elio Gracie, Khonry would visit him at least once a year, and he said even in his 90s, he couldn't pass his guard. He was so strong, he had such a grip that Khonry, you know, Grandpa would say, pass my guard, pass, and he could not do it even when Elio was 92 years old.
I can tell you, I grappled with Elio Gracie when he was 82. And it was one of the greatest and worst moments of my life, because I didn't want to do anything, because God knows you don't want to hurt that legend. And he was, at 82, so strong and had such a grip and was choking you continuously, and it's like, this is awesome and horrible.
Keep in mind, without that great legend, we would not be here.
That's right.
In this world of mixed martial arts today. The great late Elio Gracie. Royce's father brought the Gracie Jiu-Jitsu over to North America. Royce raised the banner and represented it well, and the rest continues to be historic as the next generation, Khonry Gracie, looks for his first professional win here in Israel.
Ron Becker trying to bring some pressure here on Khonry. That's not a bad idea, because he does have power. When he hits, he does have some power. He's knocked some people on their butts with his right hand. He likes to try to land it, but that length, he's got to get inside for that to happen.
Definitely looking to showcase his striking here in round one. Khonry Gracie had a lot of pressure making his professional debut pretty much at home at the Forum in Inglewood.
Man, that wasn't. You look at that fight against Devin Brock and what happened in that fight. You could tell that Khonry was never comfortable in the fight. You can see him here tonight. He's incredibly comfortable right now in this fight with Becker.
Khonry has said quite often he feels no pressure in being the son of a legend, but he has learned the difference of intensity between what it's like to have a real fight and that of training. And he said that was the biggest thing that caught him by surprise, even in his one amateur fight, a 9-minute fight against Ben Clark back in 2017.
It's so unusual for people when they don't understand the difference. Training is training, and look at times when you're training, you're throwing fairly hard, and you're taking some shots. And when you're grappling, you're applying pressure. You're not going after it. When it's the fight, and someone grabs a hold of you, they are grabbing a hold of you with everything they have. When they try to take your arm, they're trying to rip it off of your body. It is totally different than training, and you have got to understand that when I go in there, man, I need to give everything I have.
Final seconds of round number 1. And a good round for Gracie. In the red gloves, Ron Becker, boy wonder, the 25-year-old from here in Israel, in the blue gloves tonight.
Solta a mão, tu pega. Quando ele quer te atacar, ele sempre vem curto. Se tu botar um cruzado, vai pegar fora dentro. Se tu botar ele na grade, entra a mão por dentro, vai pegar. Ele é criança. Okay? It's your fight. You dominate, stand and you take it down. You choose, bro.
Stick to the face, Ron.
It's interesting, John, and it was kind of off camera a bit, but Renzo was the one really giving instructions and advice to Khonry as he approaches round 2. His father Hoist just had that mean, serious stare.
No, I don't care what you say. You have a son, I have some sons.
Yes.
And you know what? Your sons just don't listen to you the same as they listen to that best friend or that uncle. So Uncle Renzo is giving him those words of advice, and those are good words, and hopefully he takes those to heart and does them right now.
I'm pretty sure mine doesn't listen to me at all.
I know mine didn't ever listen.
I only coached him in hockey for over a decade. I always have to tell him, kid, I did pay for those skates. Round 2. Head kicks thrown by Khonry Gracie, just 21 years old. Has not competed in jiu-jitsu tournaments because Hoist just doesn't agree with the point system.
Well, it's not how he grew up, and there's different values and different levels in jiu-jitsu, and the values that Hoist grew up with was, hey, we go in a jiu-jitsu match, we don't go by time, we go by win. You either submit me or you don't. There is no, well, you get points for this or points for that, and it's just a mindset. It's the way he looks at it. You got the IBJJF, who they've got a great system that they use. Some people will say, and some people will say, I don't like it. I can tell you, every time I put on a grappling tournament, I went submission only because I believe that's the true essence of jiu-jitsu.
And again, Khonry with an opportunity, like you said, that Dad would have tried to capitalize on, back to the center of the cage. He would love to earn his first professional victory by knockout. Second round, red gloves for Gracie, blue gloves for Becker. Second professional fight for Khonry. Hoist's last fight was the third fight against Ken Shamrock back at Bellator 149 in February of 2016. Khonry was in the locker room and the corner that night. Khonry said he decided to start training for his own fights at that point.
Right,
that was the game changer.
You know what? It's those moments in life where you look and you go, you know what? Yeah, this is what I want to do, and that's what Khonry did, and full respect. it is not easy being the son of a legend. It is so difficult to come in here because there are expectations just based upon who your dad was. It's the same thing for Ryan Couture tonight. Look at who, you know, what his dad accomplished in the sport, and any son. As you know, Aviv comes in here tonight with his pro debut. He's got a dad that, you know, here in Israel, he's an MMA icon, and it is so difficult to walk your own footsteps where your father has already been.
Aviv Gozali will be making his pro debut in our next fight. They were down for just a moment, now right back up.
And this is exactly what he should be doing. These knees right here, start to adjust your hands. Every time you throw the knee, make the adjustment with your hand to try to get that takedown if that's what you want, or to establish that big shot with either the knee or the hands.
What a lot of people do not know about Khonry Gracie is he was an excellent soccer player, extremely high-level soccer player. And the moment of truth came about 4 years ago when he had to truly make a choice for his future. He had an offer to play collegiate soccer at the Division I level and said, you know what? I'm going to be a mixed martial artist. And Royce made the point of saying it was all his decision.
Yeah.
I didn't factor in that decision. I let Khonry pick his own path, and now he's going to be his own man and his own fighter.
Well, there's no doubt. Look, I'm going to tell you straight out, Khonry he's a better athlete than his dad ever was. He may not be as good a fighter that, you know, at this point of his career, but he is a better athlete, and that leads to him being able to be the better fighter down the road, more able to land and transition to all these different things. Look at the power he's starting to put on these body shots now. He's starting to get to Ron Becker here. These shots are adding up. Becker's starting to breathe pretty hard, and you see that Khonry's still feeling good. That nice lateral movement, not completely going backwards.
Accidental eye poke. As Khonry was actually moving backwards.
This is a good thing for Ron Becker. It's not good as you get poked in the eye, but it is good if you take your time and you're smart and take this breather, because you're starting to get a little winded. Suck in the air, get yourself back and ready to go.
Thus far, Ron Becker has not been able to establish any type of offense. And Khonry's working diligently on his striking skills, and you can see the results thus far.
I gotta give Ron Becker credit, man. He's coming forward the whole time, trying to get inside of that reach. It is not an easy thing to get inside on a big, tall guy.
A grab in the middle of the cage. 30 seconds remaining in the round.
See, and at this point right here, when you're looking at Khonry, where his hands are at, he needs to start to get busy. Either start going after that takedown or start landing shots to the body, bringing him up to the head.
Final 10 seconds of this round. Becker pushes forward. And they'll scramble to the bell.
Lembra sempre quando ele entrar, botar uma mão por dentro, pra não conseguir chubar. Entendeu? Quando porra pegar, joga a cabeça e vai pras costas. Ele vai vir todo se ajeitar, vai encerrar onde é que deu. Ele vai inteirinho. Ele vai entrar de novo dessa maneira. Vai inteiro. Essa luta é tua, acabou já. Entendeu? Já ganhou os 2 rounds. Já ganhou essa luta, na verdade. Agora é só pra definir. Mete a mão pra dentro. É tua, porra. Mete a mão.
Third and final round. Red gloves for Gracie, blue gloves for Becker. Both of Becker's wins came in the very first round. One by knockout, one by submission. All 3 of his fights ended one way or another in the first round. So uncharted territory for Ron Becker from here in Israel. And Khonry has been happy to showcase some striking here throughout this matchup.
He has, but just what he's doing right there, that lateral movement's great, but there's no response. If a guy's going to be throwing kicks at you, I want you to laterally move, and I want you to come back with some type of offense to make him pay for coming after you.
It is worthy of note that that soccer background of Khonry Gracie will aid him massively in his ability to throw heavy kicks. And Kenny Florian was one of the great examples of that. How you step into those kicks, soccer style, and you're able to do even more damage.
Well, if there's one thing, you know, I was never the soccer player, but the one
I can't picture you as a soccer player.
Well, I was goalie when I was a kid.
I was going to say, unless you were the goalie.
But the one thing that you do find, man, soccer players out there are great athletes. And look at, when you're a great athlete, Kenny Florian doesn't look like a whole lot. Man, he was a good athlete. I used to love watching Kenny Florian because of the amount of the techniques that he brought into the cage, and that he was able to do those things because he was so athletic. He was able to learn it and then perform it.
And he would step through those kicks. Florian played collegiate soccer at PC at Boston College. Of course, we talked about Khonry having to make the choice and chose to, as he said, take over the family business and looking for his first professional win. Third and final round against Ron Becker.
This right here, I like the fact that Khonry's having to go through rounds. Rounds are a good thing for a fighter as long as you're not being damaged, and he's not being damaged here. But I do want to see you start to have some type of, I need to start to do something here. I need to step on the gas. I need to apply more pressure. I need to create problems for Ron Becker, and I'm not seeing that. I'm seeing someone out there that right now, I think I have the first 2 rounds, so I can just sit here and just pick and choose when I do something. No, you need to go after him in the fight, because at any moment, Ron Becker can land a shot that can take you out of this fight.
Quick glance at the clock by Gracie, just over 2 minutes remain here in the third and final round. Second professional fight for Khonry Gracie, the oldest of Royce's 3 sons. 3 boys and a girl.
You're right there.
The legendary Royce Gracie.
What you're looking at, Khonry standing there, he's got his hand, look at him going straight back now. Don't go straight back. If he comes at you, I want to step to one side or the other, which depending on what he's throwing at me, I want to take that step and then bring offense towards him, make him pay.
Don't be linear.
Don't be linear. Lateral. They both start with an L. One's good, one's bad.
115, Becker trying to apply some pressure here in the third. Hasn't been able to land anything that's done a ton of damage. There is some swelling under, I believe it was the left eye of Khonry. So he's connected at least once or twice. But the control of the cages belong to Gracie.
Khonry is the first Gracie. We got Neiman Gracie, and we got a bunch of guys out there that have fought with the Gracie name. Khonry is the one. He doesn't want to go to the ground. He's the guy. It doesn't matter if he's a brown belt in jiu-jitsu. I like standing up. I think I'm just going to stand up here and just pick him apart.
You know, it's funny you bring that up, John, because I was thinking before, amongst all the Gracies in MMA, how many TKO knockout wins are there? There's a ton of victories, and that doesn't mean it's a bad thing, because they've been choking people out for decades, but how many have actually scored the TKO and the KO, which is obviously what Khonry was hoping to achieve here tonight in Israel. Instead, this fight, with just seconds remaining, goes the distance. But a much more composed and relaxed, maybe not excellent, in Hoist's mind for sure, Khonry Gracie, but he seemed way more comfortable than he did at the Forum back in January.
No doubt about it. You could see that not being in front of his family and friends, having all those people there to watch it. This right here was a good place for him to be. He was way more comfortable and way better as a fighter today. Take a look at the shots right here. Khonry setting him up. Left hand to the body, right hand comes up. That's what you're looking for. Don't go after singles, go after multiples. Here's where we get into the position here. If you're gonna dirty box, start to land more shots if you want to stay on your feet. Good left hand, grabs a hold of him after he takes a shot, dirty box. Bring those knees up, start to bring the hand inside for the uppercut. That's where you'll start to damage him.
It's a pretty impressive corner.
Yeah, pretty impressive.
Dad was like,
Dad's just laughing.
Yeah. And I'll tell you what, and you obviously have known Khonry since he was truly a little boy, but he is a very nice young man.
Oh, he's such a good person.
Yeah.
You know, all you can do is say, hey man, this is what you want to do, go after it with everything you have, because following your dreams, that's what it's all about.
He represents the Gracie name very well as we get the official decision from Michael C. Williams.
Ladies and gentlemen, for the decision, we'll go to your three judges. At cage side, your first judge, David Torelli, scores the fight 30-27, while judges John English and Brian Miner both score at the same 29-28. I'll have it for the winner by unanimous decision, Khonry Gracie.
First professional victory for Khonry Gracie.